Hey, it's Shvana, and today we're going to talk a little bit about breastfeeding. And we have Laura,
Hi.
who works 9 to 5, and myself, and I am a stay-at-home mom.
Are you a 9 to 5 mom and breastfeeding? What advice can you offer the rest of us?
Hi, I'm Laura. I work 9 to 5. I have a 1.5-year-old, and so I went back to work when the baby was about 4 months old. So here's my routine. It definitely changed throughout the months, but here's my routine when I first went back. So I'd wake up around 6 and I would shower, get myself ready, pack all my things for work, and then I would pump. This first pump for me was the most important one of the day because at this stage the baby was sleeping through the night. So I could pump before I left for work and get easily 8 to 10 ounces, which would be 2 full bottles for her throughout the day. So then I would get to work anywhere between 8 and 9, and then I would pump at 10, and this would take a half hour. So when you're pumping, especially at work, I always added 15 minutes extra to what I needed to actually pump, because you have to set up your pump, you need to take all the things out, you need to sanitize everything, and then sanitize it at the end. So I always gave myself a 15-minute cushion. So at 10, from 10 to 10:30, I would pump. And at this pump, I would only usually get about anywhere from 4 to 6 ounces. And it really depended on how much I pumped that morning. Then I would go to lunch around 1. And most of my lunch break would actually be pumping. So if you are planning on working full-time and nursing, I would suggest bringing your lunch as much as you can, because that hour is going to be really important to getting a good quality pump. So my lunchtime pump, because I would give it more time, I would definitely get around 6 ounces. And then I would do one final pump where I would probably only get 2 to 3 ounces at this point, but I would do one final pump at 4 o'clock just to get a little more out before my long commute home. So then I would leave work around 5:30. Depending on traffic or train traffic, I would get home around 6, 7. And so what I tried to do, but this was harder when the baby was younger, what I would try to do was take care of myself before I immediately went to the baby. So I would come home, I would try to shower, kind of wash the workday off of me, eat dinner, try to get that all done within a half hour, and then I could start her bedtime routine. So then I could give her a bath, and then my goal would always be to nurse her that one time just to put her to bed. When she was younger, though, this often didn't work, so I would come home and she would be so happy to see me that I would just have to nurse her right away. So I would end up nursing her right away, and then sometimes that would lead to her just going right to sleep. That was my routine when the baby was about 4 months old. As the baby gets older and their nursing needs become less, your pumping routine at work can become less. So when the baby was about 8 to 9 months, I started to be able to cut out a pump, which was great. So I would cut out the morning pump, and my first pump of the day would be at my lunch break. So I would do that, and then I would still keep that kind of quick pump around 3 or 4, just to relieve myself before I got on the commute to work. Now that the baby is about 1.5 years, I don't pump at all at work, which is phenomenal. So I nurse her at night and I nurse her in the morning, but I have no need to nurse her while I'm at work, and she doesn't need bottles while I'm away, so she just eats real food and drinks regular milk, so it does get a lot easier.
So my routine is a little different than Laura's. I breastfeed on demand because I'm at home with my baby. However, in the first 6 months, I was pumping twice a day. So I would get up, I would do my morning routine with the baby, I would nurse, and we would prepare a breakfast. And during the day, in the first 3 months especially, the baby would cry. And so when you nurse on demand, whenever they cry, you try to figure out why they're crying. And usually one of those reasons is because they want to nurse or they want to suckle. And so because in the very beginning, you don't want to give them a pacifier in case they get confused with nipple confusion. So I would nurse. Then later on, I realized that he was sucking just for that satisfaction of sucking. So that's when I started giving him a pacifier, and I spoke to a lactation specialist about that. During the day, I would nurse him on demand, and The second pump would come towards dinner. So throughout the day, I would just go about my whole routine, and whenever he cried, I would nurse him or I would offer my breast. Later on, as he got older, it became more of a routine where I would just do it at specific times. So right now, he's about almost a year and a half. And so we'll do the morning routine. I'll nurse him in the morning. We'll eat breakfast together. Then we'll go about our day, playtime, walk around. Then we get closer to lunch. I'll feed him. We'll eat together. I'll nurse him. And between between breakfast and lunch, he will nap. And so before he naps, I will nurse him and then he'll nap. Later on, I'll try to see if he could get in another nap. And before he naps again, I'll nurse him and then he'll nap. And then later in the day, we'll have dinner. We'll go about our nighttime routine. And before he goes to bed, I'll nurse him and he'll go to bed. And so pretty much every time before he sleeps, I'll make sure I nurse him, with the addition of nursing him right after he wakes up. So right now I'm nursing probably 6 times a day. And it's drastically reduced from before, where I was nursing about 8 to 12 times a day. So some important things to be mindful about when you are breastfeeding is your diet. And so what I do, I still take my prenatals, and it's encouraged for breastfeeding moms to continue taking their prenatals. In addition to taking prenatals, I also take vitamin D, because sometimes it's hard to give the baby the vitamin D orally. So what I've read up on it is that if the mom takes vitamin D, then some nutrients go to the baby. In terms of my diet, I try to keep a pretty balanced diet. Lots of protein. I try to have protein in every meal along with vegetables. And so that's how I kind of keep myself healthy and the baby healthy.
I have a really similar diet. Lots of protein, lots of vegetables. I basically eat chicken or eggs every single day. And so when the baby was about 8 or 9 months old, I started dieting to lose some weight. And so what I noticed, though, when I lost weight was that my supply went down. So what I did was I just started adding in some fats to my diet, so peanut butter, olive oil, and immediately my supply went back up. Another thing I noticed, because I'm a runner, I had an injury, and my sports medicine doctor said that I had low vitamin D and C, so I started taking vitamin D and C supplements, and she said this is really common when you're nursing.
So since I'm a stay-at-home mom, weaning is kind of a challenge, right? Because like you're in front of them, you're with them all the time, they smell you, they can smell the milk, it's right there. So I've had some difficulty trying to get him to nurse less. I do try to capitalize on when my husband's home and try to be home less, or try to have them bond more. And so one of the ways that I am able to wean is that I no longer co-sleep with my baby, so I no longer nurse throughout the night. I think my body still thought in a way that I had a newborn or like a 3-month-old, because I kept on waking up throughout the night to nurse, and a lot of it was just for him, for comfort. It wasn't necessarily like he was getting nutrients out of me. He just wanted to nurse to be close to me. And when he woke up, it was a way that he would just go back to bed.
I similarly have been trying to wean unsuccessfully. So she will be 2 very soon, and so I still nurse. It's very much for comfort. I am a co-sleeping culprit. So when she was younger, when I first went back to work, it was amazing because she slept in the crib and she slept the whole night. And then one day, just happened, she started sleeping in our bed, and now always in the middle of the night she'll wake up, we bring her to bed, and she nurses. So I definitely think if you're looking to wean, a good step is to remove yourself for a couple nights from baby, because when they see you, they smell you, they know the milk is there, they definitely want it.
So thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope this advice from Laura and I help you out.
Thanks.
Hey, it's Shabana. Please like and subscribe to my videos. Thanks for watching my video.